So I was having a hard time coming up with a way to creatively summarize the exam like we were supposed to do. And so I was making dinner and I thought, maybe I can equate this to what we learned. So we have the plate and the cup. Those are the two different methods of delivering things. In this case, they're delivering food, but we could equate that to the cardiac system and the respiratory system, which were two of the chapters that we covered. The cardiac system has a pump, tubes, and fluid, which is the heart, vessels and capillaries, and the blood. And the lungs do their transference of food through diffusion, gas exchange, and inspiration and expiration. The next thing we have are body composition. So in body composition, you have two different things. You have fat-free mass and you have body fat. What I made for dinner tonight is I have chicken Alfredo with basil and roasted Brussels sprouts. In this case, roasted Brussels sprouts are going to be my fat-free mass, along with the noodles and the basil. Our body fat would be the cream sauce on the Alfredo and the chicken, as well as some of the olive oil that I used on the Brussels sprouts. And so just like in exercise, fat-free body mass is going to be more important than body fat. It's also going to be healthier to have. So as you can see, I have a lot of vegetables, I have a lot of protein, I have carbs, and I kept the fats pretty low, which is the same thing you want to see with body composition. Lower fats, higher amounts of fat-free mass. I also have juice, which doesn't have any fat in it either, so that would also count as fat-free mass. If I increased the amount of fatty foods, that would be the same as increasing body fat, which can be bad for performance, both in body composition and in food. If you add too much fat to food, it's going to make you feel kind of sick. If you have too much body fat in your body composition, it's going to make it harder to get the work done that you need to have done. We also have energy systems, and that is another thing that's really important. We have 3 different types of energy systems in both our bodies and in my dinner. In my dinner, we have carbohydrates, we have vegetables, which I suppose technically could also be carbohydrates, but I'm not worrying about that right now. And we have protein in the form of my chicken. In the body, that is the glycolytic, oxidative, and ATP PCR systems. The ATP PCR system is the easiest way and the simplest way to get energy, just like carbohydrates, like pasta. They'll give you lots of energy very fast, but it won't hold out for very long. The glycolytic system is going to give you energy more slowly, and it'll involve the breakdown of glucose through glycolysis. That'd be similar to our vegetables. They're going to be a little bit more complex than straight up carbohydrates, but they're still going to be a relatively easy way to get energy. Last, you have the oxidative system, where oxygen is used to break down molecules to create more ADP and ATP. That'd be like our protein. That's going to take the most to digest. That's going to take the most effort to break down. And it's the most complex with all the amino acids that build up protein. Just like oxidative energy is the most complex system and the one that takes the longest. Just like you can change food to adapt to what you need, you can also change your body through resistance exercise or anaerobic or aerobic exercise. Cardiovascular response to training includes a decrease in resting heart rate, lower heart rate during submaximal exercise, and a increase in cardiac output during max exercise due to the increase in stroke volume. Lastly, we have our We have our ergogenic aids, and I'm going to equate that to the spices and the seasonings that I used, because ergogenic aids are a little tricky. Sometimes they actually do what you want them to do. Other times they don't, and they can actually make things worse, which is also known as a ergolytic agent, but they're often misadvertised. Same with spices. If you don't use them correctly, you're going to end up with something that you don't want to eat, or something that'll make you sick, or something that'll make your dish overall taste worse. Whereas if you correctly use your ergogenic aids and your spices, you're going to improve what you have. Maybe not a ton, maybe just a little bit, but, you know, it's still an improvement. So in this case, I used basil in the pasta, and I used sea salt and olive oil on the Brussels sprouts. And so that, I believe, covers all of it. I'm sorry, I know this is a really weird way to do it, but it was the only thing I could think of. Especially since right now I'm having issues with my right hand, and so I'm unable to draw or paint or do anything else art-wise. And I'm not the greatest singer, so I didn't want to do that either. So hopefully this made sense. Hopefully this was creative enough for you. But yeah, I hope that this is what you wanted. I wasn't entirely sure. Have a great day. Bye.